Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Black and White Gaming's Game Club. I am your moderator, Peter, and I'm here with my friends, Johnny Bag of Donuts, and DC Man 054, the Colbert 12, Light Skin T'Challa, and Black
Real
Vegeta,
Kratos.
and Real Kratos.
Man, I'm so happy you added the Black Vegeta. What's up? How's it going? The man of many names.
I'm just gonna stick to one name.
Hey, I like it.
The Real Kratos. That's the one that he's sticking with. The Game Club is where we pick a game, and we play it section by section, and then every week we talk about the section we played, basically like a book club. And we do that until we reach the end, and today we have reached the end of our first game. That is right, Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes. We have reached the end. Woo!
I beat a game.
Devon beat a game.
We're
Let's
dragging
go.
him through it. You'll never catch up if we keep going at the same pace, but it's okay. We're still making beat games.
Fuck it.
I'm going to do a quick recap of last week's episode. Last week's episode, we had to defeat Sniper Wolf again. We went through, we had to fight Liquid Snake, who was flying around in a helicopter. We did that, and it made it a lot easier if you had the rope. If you didn't have the rope, you had to go back down. Who had to do that again?
I feel like I could have beaten this game in half the time if I just picked up things that I needed to do it.
After you defeat Liquid Snake, you continue on a little bit, and then you have to take on Sniper Wolf again. You have a rematch with her. You defeat her. Snake defeats Sniper Wolf. Otacon cries about it. Snake shoots her in the face, and then we're on to the final section of BWG Game Club. That's right. Today we had to finish the game, so guys, let's not waste any more time, considering this section was a holy section. Like, whew, this was a wholesome gameplay section, and that's putting it lightly. Without any specific details, guys, let me know what you thought.
It was basically like going on a vacation with your family. Like, you're happy it's done, and you're happy to go back to your life.
You were really excited. You were really excited to start it, but then by the end
It
of
was
it,
actually
you were like,
fun
"Man,"
when you first started. You're like,
and by the end of it, you were like, you know what?
fuck you. Now I know why I moved the
Fuck
fuck out. All right.
Right, exactly.
That's actually the perfect analogy, John. Like, you start it, and you're like, I'm glad I started this. And by the end of it, you're like, just let it be over. Let it be done.
I really am very mad I started this.
You defeated Sniper Wolf. You're in the snow. You head on inside the building. There's other items you can get, by the way. And there's also a room full of mines. So if you don't have your thermal goggles, you're going to run into those. I happen to know that John ran into one of those because I watched his stream. If you didn't know, John streamed his entire last section. And I basically watched almost all of that, which was extremely fun to watch. So highly recommend next time. Next time he streams a Game Club game, you should definitely check it out. Johnny_Bag of Donuts.
Hey, that plug.
Hey.
TTV, baby. What's up?
But you make it inside the building, and there's a couple cameras. You take them out. I imagine none of us had any difficulty with that. But when you head into the next room is called the Blast Furnace. Guys, I'm going to let you know my biggest difficulty with this room. It was that I didn't understand I had to crouch while leaning up against the wall.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you.
What I mean by that is when you get into the Blast Furnace, there's on the far side of the room, on that wall, you can put your back up against the wall and walk along a ledge. However, there's this machine going back and forth, but unless you're paying attention or if you can actually see, I'm going to blame this on the fact that I was playing this in the middle of the day, so my screen was really dark, so I couldn't really see what was going on. It took me a while to even find the damn camera. There's a couple cameras in the room, and I couldn't find them. But I put my back up against the wall, and all of a sudden, Snake just falls into the lava, into the molten below. Snake! And I just stared at the screen thinking, okay, well, I just watched Snake burn alive. Cool. I'm going to try that again. And it wasn't until like the third try that I really understood. There's something that's dragging the giant rope thing back and forth, and you have to crouch underneath it. So once I finally figured out that, I was good to go on this area. Guys, how did you do?
So I ran in and I hid kind of behind the box. Like there's a box in the middle of the room that you can hide behind. So I hide behind that and I'm standing up. And the dude can see you. He can see the top of your head. So I was like, how did he see me? And then when I leaned up against it again the second time, I was like, okay, my head got it. So I would duck down and I would choke him out every single time, right? So then same thing with you, the wall, you're up against it and I'm walking across it and the thing hits me and I'm like, okay, I don't know what happened here. Like, did someone see me? What happened? I'm not too sure. So then I did it like 4 more times. And then by accident, I pressed X and he leans up against the wall and I was like, all right, I wonder if he can, crouch walk across. Sure fucking enough. Sure enough. Sure enough. He does it. He makes it.
So funny enough, this is probably the easiest thing I did in this whole section. But yeah, like when you get into that room, there's that guard right there that's patrolling. He immediately saw me, but I killed him. But he had already called in other people. So what I did was I thought I was being smart, and I dragged the body back through the door that I came through to the giant staircase that's coming down. And I put the body down. I'm like, piece of cake. And all of a sudden, just guards start coming down that stairwell behind me. I was like, fuck. But yeah, my first go around with trying to lean against the wall, the machine comes and like hits you into the lava, which you do like the almost like the fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator 2.
You're
pose
reaching
where
up.
He's reaching up. Yeah, it's like this is going in.
All I
Gives you
needed to
like
see
thumbs
was
up.
a thumbs up. Yeah, exactly.
And then I was like, oh, okay, you gotta duck. So I thought it was just gonna be, you walk across the plank and then you duck when it comes and it goes over you. Then you go up. And then as I ducked, I noticed that you could actually, continue crawling across while ducking. I was like, oh, cool. So I only died once at that part.
Nice.
I think my biggest regret in this whole entire game was not grabbing the suppressor for the SOCOM.
Ooh, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this whole time I've never had it. But like the M9, my savior. My fucking savior, dude. Literally my savior.
Can that take out cameras or no?
No.
Oh. Well,
It can't.
I do have to say, this section really cemented that I did not give a fuck. I went through every room. If there were guards in there, you were dying. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't care. Did not have the patience to sneak by you unless it was a sure shot way through. You could also grab body armor in this room.
Yeah.
There's a room that you can head in at the end of this area, and if you head in there, there's steam popping out, and you have to time your way across those steam vents. But if you make it through all the way, you can crawl under another location, and when you get there, there is body armor.
Didn't grab it.
The only thing with the body armor is I didn't know that you had to equip it, so I never used it.
Pete's getting shot all the time. He's like, this is amazing. It's like it's really stopping bullets.
There were moments where I thought, I was like, oh, the body armor is really cool. No, that's just me actually taking bullets. Oh, God.
I will say, in this segment of the whole game, I did sometimes cheese it where I just ran to the next room and then went back to fucking reset everything. I was like, it's just
If you got
so much
detected,
easier.
just run out of the room and then run back in. You're like, cool, reset. There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, after that area, you make it into the cargo elevator, and there are 2 cargo elevators in here.
Ugh.
And
Rough.
the first cargo elevator has a little cutscene when you go down it. And let me tell you that this game started kind of ridiculous, right? This guy got shot out of a missile into Shadow Moses.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's able to somehow divert the missile between lasers and whatnot and make it to where he needs to be before the missile crashes. The cutscenes now have just lost all sensibility.
They've lost full, dude. Full tilt.
It's
essentially
just-
like the Fast and Furious franchise. Right?
Yes,
It's like,
yes, yes.
It's just gradually gotten worse and worse and fucking more.
John, you're on
ridiculous.
point with
With-
the analogies tonight.
Absolutely. The
You're doing a
comparisons
great
just
job.
beautiful. Oh my god. After last week, I thought to myself, wow, that was really over the top. And they just keep going.
Keep
They
going,
don't they put the foot on the gas and just hold it right there. Fast and Furious, like, and all.
It went from hyper realistic, where you're like, okay, like, yeah, he's doing some crazy things, but it's supposed to be this like super soldier type thing, to just like flat out cartoonish. Like,
Yes.
it doesn't even make sense. Some
Yes.
of the things that are doing, I'm like, well, okay.
Well, let's explain exactly why I think that with the first cutscene of this section, which is you're on the cargo elevator and 4 genome soldiers, as the elevator's already going down, just jump over the ledge and they're shooting down towards Snake. They're all, 4 of them shooting. One's top left corner, one's top right, one's bottom left, one's bottom right, and they're all converging on Snake. And finally, once they're about to meet the middle, Snake jumps out of the way. And there's an explosion for some reason. I don't even know where the explosion came from, but there's an explosion as Snake jumps out of the way. And then he lands. He's safe, unharmed. The 4 genome soldiers all stand there staring at him, and a rain of casings just fall all around them and hit the elevator floor. And then you have to take them all out.
And they're wearing gas masks.
I just don't get that they're firing at him as they're jumping down, right?
In an X pattern.
Yep. All right, fine. They're missing him. They land. They all have their guns pointed at him.
And
they're
none of
just
them
like,
shoot.
It's like a standoff. Yeah, it's like, okay, like what? It's like, it's so insane.
I also don't remember killing 4 of them. I just have
Me
to
either.
say.
I killed 3.
I remember killing 3. There were definitely 4 in the cutscene, and I was thinking maybe I killed one off screen, but I don't remember doing that.
I'm pretty sure I killed 4.
You make it down to the bottom of the elevator, and guess what? You have to take another elevator.
Good.
I hate these elevators so fucking much.
I don't mind them because I only had to ride them
Yeah,
The-
yeah.
the amount of
God.
times you needed to ride them. That's what I needed to do.
Ugh.
Yikes. Sorry, John.
Ugh. What? Like, we'll get to it, but one's out of my own stupidity, and then one. Actually, they're all out of my own stupidity. but-
We take John's favorite theme park ride all the
Mhm.
way down to the next floor. And you get a call from Master. And Master tells you
Snake, I've got something to tell you about Naomi Hunter.
there's something up with Naomi's story. Doesn't make sense. I investigated it. There was no Asian FBI investigators in the 50s when Edgar Hoover was leading the FBI. What do you think, guys?
I knew it. I knew some shit was shady. I knew it was shady because when he was questioning her, he was like FBI, blah blah blah. and I
Really
was
hard, really
Yeah,
interrogating
he
her in that first
Oh, yeah.
conversation. We made fun of it, and I do have to say, I'm sorry, forgive me, because even though I thought that conversation was a bunch of BS and didn't need to be in there, it does play a part. It does have a point. I understand. There is also another correction that I need to mention. There is another correction. In the very first episode, I said you need to infiltrate Shadow Moses, which you do. But I said that Snake needs to stop Shadow Moses. He needs to stop Foxhound, not Shadow Moses. I remember saying Shadow Moses. Shadow Moses is the place that you're at,
Right.
not the group that you're trying to stop. So just want to make that correction and put that out there. Then he says to Snake, I'll find out who she is. Give me time. And that conversation is over. So you know that you're expecting another codec conversation, which, let me tell you, there are a lot of codec sections in this
Oh,
final part
God.
of the game.
There's one specific part that annoyed the fuck out of me, and I'll make sure to let you know when that happens.
After that conversation is done, the elevator reaches the bottom of the floor. But if you notice, as the elevator is coming down, there's a bunch of ravens flying around, which means something is about to happen.
Mm.
It's a clear sign, clear indicator that you are about to have an encounter with our boy from the tank, Vulcan Raven.
He's probably my favorite villain out of all the ones that you fight. I actually enjoy
Like-
him as a
Like
villain.
the character or the actual
the
boss
character.
fight?
No, the
Okay.
character. I actually really like his character. The other ones, meh. His character though, I think he's boss. He's boss as shit.
I'm a Psycho Mantis guy.
I did like Psycho Mantis. Vulcan Raven was the most amusing intro, I feel,
Mhm.
because
For those,
it was just so ridiculous. And let me tell you exactly why. You walk into this freezing cold container area. Vulcan Raven is at the top of one of the containers. He stands up with this giant weird backpack thing and a chain gun in his hand. And all the crows start caw-caw-cawing, and he's like,
This is the end of the road for you, right, my friends? They're becoming excited.
when he jumps down, he starts leading up to why they're going to fight.
Tattoo?
Yeah, his
Animating.
tattoo
Coming to life.
his tattoo
Just-
animating.
jumps off of his head and flies around Snake and then lands on Snake's shoulder. He talks about Snake being Inuit or him being Inuit. I don't know. One of them is Japanese, one of them is Inuit. He says that they're cousins and they're from the same ancestors. It's a weird conversation.
He's a
I just
badass.
love the World Eskimo Indian Olympics conversation that they have because it's so out of place and so weird.
You live in Alaska, too. You know of the World Eskimo Indian Olympics. With that strength, you must have been training in the stick pull and four-man carry. Yes, you are right. But there is another event that I excel at. It is called the ear pull. It's an event where two opponents pull each other's ears while enduring the harsh cold. It tests spiritual as well as physical strength. You want to pull each other's ears? The form is different, but the spirit is the same. Rejoice, Snake! Ours will be a glorious battle.
And I lost my shit. I was
So
like,
done, dude.
what are we talking about now?
I literally giggled as soon as he said it.
I and he's like, there was one more event, and when I was streaming, I was like, oh, the ear pull, and then he fucking said ear pull. I fucking died laughing. So I was like, I was kidding. I didn't think that was actually going to be something that they brought up.
That's hilarious.
It snapped me right out. I was like, wait a minute, whoa, what? I was like, what did we just listen to?
Here's the thing that I learned about Hideo Kojima conversations, right? Hideo Kojima conversations, they're filled with knowledge. No doubt about it. They're filled with knowledge. But they're filled with such trivial knowledge that you sit there and listen to them and you think, why are they even talking about that? But he backs it up with so many facts that you're like, wow, he really researched that. And that's what he wants you to think, is that, yeah, we really went in depth with the research and really found out about these characters and really gave them something. After the talking is done, Vulcan Raven grabs a container and just flings it at Snake. A giant container, mind you, a giant shipping container. These things are massive. These things are massive. And he grabs it with one hand and with his left hand, by the way, while he's still holding the chain gun, flings it at Snake. There's an explosion just before it hits Snake. And then Snake is standing there, and as the dust settles, you see Snake standing there with his freaking rocket launcher.
Bro,
Oh my god.
like the blast wouldn't propel him back.
I don't understand why he doesn't want to move places and he just wants to like have explosions push things away from him.
I don't understand how Snake processes these situations, right? There are moments when he sees something happening and he thinks to himself, I need to jump out of the way. And it's not just any kind of jump, it's backflip or aerial or weird movements. And then there's moments where you think, oh, Snake is going to do one of those crazy freaking backflips. And no, he blows up the thing coming at him. Mind you, this is the same guy. This is the same guy who got thrown around when Vulcan Raven was shooting tank shells at him.
Now thinking back, I'm not surprised, or I am surprised that he didn't just jump off him like Mario at the fucking like pirate ship, just jumping off the fucking tank shells.
This is where I call bullshit because in last episode.
Oh, this is where you call bullshit.
Listen, hold on. Let me
This
explain.
is the part.
Listen, let me explain. last episode, if you guys recall, he threw a grenade to cushion his blow from fall, and it blew him backwards, right?
Oh yeah.
It did. It did. It sent him
He just
over the
shot a
railing.
he just shot a shipping container with a missile and didn't even budge.
Yeah.
By the way, that
Didn't
shipping
move.
container is gone.
It disappeared.
It disappeared.
It was the dust that settled.
Blew up and shipping container gone.
You're right. They're not consistent with their
No,
physics. This totally took me out of the world. The experience.
Snake then runs around the corner, slow-mo dodges several of the bullets coming from Raven's chain gun, and when he reaches his final destination, he stops all anime cool, like sliding around the ground, lifts up his rocket launcher, aims it at Vulcan Raven. Vulcan Raven aims his chain gun at Snake. They shoot at each other. Snake shoots a 10-foot long rocket at him. I was like, how are you carrying that thing around? How are you carrying more than one around? It doesn't even make sense.
Huge rocket.
It's an absolutely huge rocket.
I don't think I noticed how big that was.
It was very big. It was very large.
And then it collides with one of the bullets. Explosion. And as the dust settles from that one, Snake vaults into the middle of the area, does a front roll, comes up, aims his gun at Vulcan Raven, and Raven just stands there and the fight begins.
Oh my god.
Guys, tell me how this fight went for you.
To start, I was actually doing really well. I didn't know really what to do. So I started just like trying to get behind him and shoot him with my pistol. And that was like what I just tried to do. And then it wasn't working. So then I tried shooting my FAMAS. I pronounce it FAMAS. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right or not.
Snake pronounces it Famas, so
Famas.
Snake is right in all.
Oh,
unless you
true.
can do a ballerina flip off of a missile from a helicopter, you
That's
pronounce
true.
it Famas.
That's true. So I tried using that, didn't work. And then when I was running around, how you like in they have items around. So I saw the missile one. So I was like, oh, maybe I have to use the missile. And I did that a couple times. And then he would keep catching up to, like, he would eventually meet where I was as I'm in the missile. So he would shoot me. So I just started running around putting claymores down, hoping he would run into him. I ran into him a few times, but that's pretty much how I whittled him down. Just fucking claymores were my friend, and it was great.
Beautiful, John.
I tried the FAMAS tactic. Didn't have any success. I took out my Nikita missile and tried to shoot that and try to like have it follow and hit him. And it worked one time. I hit him once and I was like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. And then I spent a ton of time trying to do that again. And it was just like getting very impossible. So I tried shooting him again. And I was like, I don't think this is taking his health down. And I finally get to the point where I was like, I think I'm just going to start maybe putting claymores down and seeing if he runs into it. And that worked. And then I had C4 when I ran out of claymores and did that way. It was much easier. It was so much easier once I did that tactic.
Worked wonders.
I have to agree with both of you guys. I started off the boss fight trying to use a sniper rifle, and that wasn't working out.
Mhm.
Moved over to Nikita missiles. I hit him twice with the Nikita missiles. But when he started running around, because he starts off the fight walking.
Yes.
Just walking
And he
through the
stops
containers.
at points.
Yeah, stops at points to just randomly shoot. And then after you get his health down to a certain point, he starts to run around. Once he started running, I could not hit him with a Nikita missile. And I was getting frustrated. The moment that frustration set in, I just thought, how can I kill this guy as quickly as possible? And I thought, oh, you want to run around the place? You want to run around? Guess what? I'm going to drop some claymores. And I started doing that and made the fight tremendously easy.
No, that was just like it completely shifted. It was like for being like somewhat frustrated, and then I was like, oh, it's claymores. Oh, all right. I was like, that takes a good amount out of him. I was like, that's pretty easy.
And that's the thing. The claymores, like you said, they really do a lot of damage, and it totally changes how the fight plays out. You defeat Vulcan Raven. He's bloody. He's staggering. He can't hold himself up anymore, let alone that giant carcass on his back, whatever that thing is holding, I guess, all
It's-
his ammunition.
Yeah, it's all the bullets.
He decides after you beat him that he should help you out. Like every other person, after you kill them, they're just
No sense.
over there thinking, you know what? You killed me. Move on.
You are a formidable opponent.
He gives you a level 7 key card, and he tells you that who the DARPA chief in the cell really was, because we knew that the DARPA chief died in a different area. We knew that the DARPA chief had been dead for a little while, and his blood had been drained.
Mm-hmm.
However, the DARPA chief that we ran into in the cell was actually a member of Foxhound, and that was Decoy Octopus. I was waiting for one of you guys to go, Decoy Octopus?
Decoy octopus?
Decoy Octopus ended up dying. They don't know why, but it has to be for the same reason Baker died. All that we know is that the reason Decoy Octopus died was because whatever was meant for the DARPA chief, he inherited because he soaked in all of the DARPA chief's blood. That's how much pride he taked in his disguise, that he would copy you down to the blood.
Yeah.
Which is
Creepy.
extremely weird.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of funny that there was an enemy in this game that we really never came into contact with. We came into contact with his disguise, and then he just died. Like, we didn't fight him. We didn't really know about him. We only came into contact with him because he was disguised as the DARPA chief, but we didn't even know that we were talking to him. So it's just kind of funny because when you come into this mission and they read off a bunch of people, I'm not going to lie, I totally forgot that Decoy Octopus was a character.
I didn't even know that it.
The
It
worst part is when they mention Octopus's name, I thought to myself, oh yeah, during the torture sequence, Liquid was like, Octopus died. And I remember thinking to myself, who is Octopus? I thought to myself, who is Octopus?
Yep. Didn't even blink at it.
Right.
Like,
The actual statement was Octopus and Baker are dead. And when the conversation happened and when he said that statement, I remember thinking, well, I know who Baker is, but who's Octopus? Maybe they'll go into that later. And
dude, there's so much bullshit
but-
dialogue in here that I just am like, whatever.
John's
Whatever.
like, yeah, that's cool.
Ear pull, octopus, fucking Alaskan Olympics. I don't, whatever. That's fine.
Same
Oh,
shit.
God. However, that's all that he tells Snake. And then his ravens have a feast. That's right. His ravens come down and start pecking at him and eating his body. And he just stands tall as Snake walks away. And then he tells Snake,
No matter how far you go, or how many corpses you crawl over, the killing will never end. It's a future without hope.
I do want to say that those ravens eat faster than pigs.
Faster.
Because there was a moment where he's standing there, like, there's a moment that he's standing there tall, and you see him, then it goes back to Snake. The camera goes back to Snake, and when it goes back to him, he's gone. He's gone, and the only thing that's left standing there, not even his clothes, mind you,
Yeah.
he has vanished, and it is just Chain Gun.
Yeah.
That's it.
So let me ask you a question, Peter.
Yep.
Because I almost attempted to do this, but I didn't want to go through the whole backtracking. Did you go back up and get that level 7 door up our sniper Fox?
I did not backtrack unless
Okay.
I needed to.
Okay.
Sniper Fox?
Yeah, that
Sniper Wolf.
Sniper Wolf, sorry. Yeah. Sniper Wolf. Where you kill her, there's a level 7 door.
I remember seeing that, but I never went back either.
And that was when my first idiotic mistake is I half-heartedly went up and I was like, I'm sure Pete will get it. He'll just tell me what's inside the door.
Nope. I just thought next area now.
Please.
He's like, thank you, Nick.
Exactly. After the cutscene, you get a call from Master. And Master, instead of using any type of code or anything, just says,
It's about Naomi. Turn your monitor off.
Yeah.
which implies that everyone can hear him come on to the codec and say, hey, Snake, I want to talk to you about Naomi. Turn your monitor off.
Right.
Which means everyone listening in is like,
what? Even
What?
Naomi? It's like, what?
which is exactly what happens because Colonel Roy Campbell goes,
What about Naomi?
Damn. Oh, shit. How do they hear this?
Master goes on in the most long-winded way possible to tell you that Dr. Naomi Hunter is not Dr. Naomi Hunter. The real Naomi Hunter was lost in the Middle East. No one knows where she is. This Naomi Hunter that we've been talking to just got the identity details, just got the identification, and was able to get to America and be able to infiltrate this area without
Out of
any
nowhere.
issue. Yeah. Yeah.
No context whatsoever. Just like, yeah, she got it.
Mm-hmm.
What a shitty government agent. Like, you're awful, dude. You deserve to go missing. Like,
Master goes on to say she might be working with Foxhound. Colonel says that she could be working for another group, but they agree that she can't work on this mission anymore, except for the Colonel. The Colonel is over there thinking,
Wait a minute. Without her, we can't complete this mission.
I knew it. You're hiding something.
Give me some time. I'll try to get it out of her.
and Snake instantly gets overdramatic and pissed off with the Colonel because apparently the Colonel must have let her in on some big secret. And even Master goes,
She's betrayed us, Colonel. She needs to be arrested and interrogated to find out who she's with. If she's one of their spies, then we're in big trouble.
What do you mean?
Oh, nothing. Colonel, have you let her in on some kind of vital secret or something?
And he just stands there with a stupid face. Just like,
Right.
call over. Thank God. We move on to the next section, which
Calls, bro.
is the warehouse north, where there are 2 guards, 2 cameras, and 2 trapdoors. Guys, how did you do in this section?
Welcome to the Trapdoor Club, baby. May I take your order? What's going on, baby? I fell down them bitches twice. Down the first one, went around, down the second one. Didn't even think that there was going to be a second one. Right down that.
I actually ran past it. You know, I saw them opening up. I was like, oh shit. And then I ran past both of them. And I was like, oh damn. And then as I was trying to take out the guard and run back, I fell into the hole. I was like, great. That's fun. That's a good time. Not to mention that they respawn there.
I did want to mention that this room is a pain because the guards respawn every single time you walk into this room.
And
Every
it's mainly the
single
top guard that's
time.
like the first guard is fine. It's the second guard that's like up on these these stairs that lead to nowhere. It's just this fucking ledge, and he just sees you because he doesn't look around or anywhere else. So it's like you turn the corner and he sees you. So you have to like basically get his attention, and as he's coming down, shoot him and take him out.
That suppressed SOCOM, man. Regrets, dude. Like, straight up regrets.
Dude, it's so useful.
The suppress SOCOM is my saving grace in this game.
Like, because I can't go into a room and kill people. I can't unless I get close enough to fucking choke them up or just shoot them with the M9, which is what I did here.
I am
M9,
happy to
I
say
M9'd it.
I did not fall through the holes once. I almost did the first time because I was standing right on it and I saw the floor wiggling and I was like, oh my God! Jumped off of it, was able to take out the guards, no problem. And then we moved on to the next area, which is the underground base. And what do we have in the underground base, guys? Who wants to say it? Who wants to say it?
Metal
Metal
Gear.
Gear.
Not just Metal Gear, we have the name now.
Rex.
Yes, Metal Gear Rex.
Mm-hmm.
You finally see it in all the Rex glory that it has. We have to make our way to the top because there's 3 floors on here, sort of. 'Cause There's 3 sets of, there's the ground floor, there's a set of catwalks in the middle, and then there's a 3rd set of catwalks at the top. And we need to get to the top floor. So 3 floors. There's guards on the very top floor. 2 of them. And there is a drainage ditch surrounding the area, which will harm you if you step into it. It'll slowly
what
take
was that
away.
all about? I didn't understand that.
It just
Is it
takes
like
away
acid
your health.
eating? Because like
I
they're wearing
don't
this
know.
fucking entire suit. What's the suit for?
I thought it was sewage,
Show.
and apparently it was harmful.
Trash.
That would make sense.
Before we make it up to the top floor, though, we get a call from Otacon from Otaku Convention. And he wants to talk to you about Baker. And this is really the beginning of the non-stop codec calls and transmissions.
His calls are so
They're the worst.
bad.
They're the worst.
Let me tell you what my favorite line from all these conversations is.
I'm counting on you.
Because I knew the moment Snake said, "I'm counting on you," the conversation was over. It was done. I knew that it was done right after that line, that they were hanging up, and I could finally keep on going.
Facts.
Until you heard that line, Otacon was just going to keep on talking.
Yes.
What they wanted to talk about, besides Otacon being a hacker, was Baker's files. They want to find out why they're launching this nuclear warhead, what's different about this nuclear warhead that they're launching, and what's necessary to deactivate it. Well,
And he gives you the step-by-step updates.
yes. As you go up the stairs, he calls you 3 or 4 times. 3 or 4 times he calls you.
We're talking in
The same room.
probably- Yeah, you're in the same room. You're literally going upstairs and around like a catwalk. I'm gonna say tops a minute of walking, not
Right.
even. And he calls you like 5 different times.
And not just that, but it's not like one of those calls where you can ignore it. It automatically
Yeah.
answers for you.
Yes.
And you're just like, that's when I knew. As soon as it was red, I was just like, good. This is amazing.
Like, dude, stop calling me. You're so needy. Oh my god.
Well, his one true love just died. You know?
I just don't get why, like, I get for certain points in the game they want to have that dramatic face-to-face moment and everything, but with things like that, could they not do just like an overlay of like just the audio while you move around and like them talking back and forth? Like,
No.
you don't need to go in the stupid codec thing and just say, "Oh, here we go. All right, yep."
You don't understand. When this happens, Snake gets in his box, right? And no one can hear him. Right? He's just talking in the middle of the room. No one can hear him.
I
If
love
they did it the other way, they'd hear him.
I love that in the beginning of the game, when you infiltrate the first area and you come out of the water, that the cutscene when the guard's coming down, everyone can still move except you.
Right.
But when the codec call is on, everyone stops what they're doing
Yep.
and freezes.
You just free reign to have a really in-depth conversation about
Exactly.
bullshit.
Yep. It's like all the guards know, wait, don't move. Snake's on a codec call.
Yeah.
Fact.
He's on one knee, guys. He's taking the codec call.
Shut up, Dad's on the phone.
How did this part go for you? Because we had to make it to the office at the top. How did dealing with the guards up there?
M9, baby. M9. They slept for a while, too. Right? I would shoot. Maybe it's because I shot them like 3 times. Like,
Triple dosage.
Right.
I
if
think you can kill them if you shoot them too many times with the
Really?
tranquilizer. I think you can.
Damn, because I shot them like 3 times. Dude, they slept throughout me walking around. They slept through nearly everything. I went like downstairs, upstairs, like multiple times, and they were still knocked out. Wild.
Yeah, I used my my SOCOM darts, and they slept for a long time too.
Through all the Otacon calls, it's going to tell you exactly what we learned. The nuclear warhead can be shot stealthily. Metal Gear Rex is a stealth weapon. It can shoot nuclear warheads, and it doesn't need fuel to shoot them, which means it can't be read by any sensors from different countries, which means it can attack anywhere without them knowing. Perfect stealth weapon, and that's what we find out. Then we finally make it to the office with Revolver Ocelot and dun 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 Liquid Snake. He survived.
There is like a portion in time, right, where he's eavesdropping on this conversation. I guess Liquid has had his back to him the whole time, but like, do you not recognize his voice? Do you not recognize like his profile of just like, oh, the guy with the long blonde hair and the brown trench coat? He's got the little British accent. He's giving orders to Ocelot. He's like, finally when he turns around, he's like,
Liquid.
holy fuck. This guy like the most supreme super soldier ever. He's like so dumb sometimes.
Keep in mind that this is after he felt the need to do a somersault aerial
Oh my
over
god.
the door to get to the other side so he could listen in, even though he could stay exactly where he was and listen in.
Gotta get the camera on my good side. I just didn't even realize that they're like, for the viewer, they're actually like hiding his face too from the scene, as if
Right.
like we don't know that's fucking like Liquid. I don't know who else that would be. What, like, do they think we're stupid?
Decoy
Like, I don't
octopus.
understand. It's so weird. I don't get it.
Liquid. So dumb, dude.
Revolver Ocelot tells Liquid that they're ready to launch the warhead at any time. Liquid Snake says that they're going to change targets, that they're not going to shoot it at the Russian area that they plan to. They're going to shoot it into this Chinese area so it can cause a rift between China and the US. That way, their demands will finally be met by Washington. As they continue on, they talk about Gerlakovich, or I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know.
Yep,
It's some
that's really good.
it's some Spetsnaz guy. Gerlakovich wants Metal Gear, which is why he gave them the Hind D and which is why he put the down payment on it. But Liquid Snake is changing his mind. All he wants is Gerlakovich's soldiers, and he wants to take on the world from Shadow Moses. In the end, they decide that they're going to hunker down in there, that they have the best weapon in the world, that they can take on any country, and that's what they're going to do in an attempt to get the vaccine for Fox Dye, which is an assassination weapon. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening in this cutscene. After Ocelot and Liquid are done talking, they decide to take a quick break of doing anything, and they just stand in the room for a little bit to give Snake his time to talk on his codec. Why are they talking on the codec? Because earlier in the conversation between Ocelot and Liquid, they mentioned the PAL being overwritten. If the PAL is overwritten, it deactivates Metal Gear, which Otacon and the Colonel and Snake all have to talk about and explain exactly how it needs to happen.
You need the keys for input. 3 of them.
But I only have the one. Where are the others?
Hold on a minute. You see, that's the trick. You already have all 3 keys. The card key is made of a shape memory alloy.
Shape memory alloy.
Yes, it's a material that changes shape at different temperatures. The key is made out of it. The card key changes shape at different temperatures.
Can you see the input terminals in the center of the control room?
I see them.
Those 3 laptop terminals are for the emergency input. There should be a symbol on each screen. Each symbol corresponds to a different key. You input the keys in order from left to right. The left one's for the room temperature key. See the symbol? Next to that goes the low temperature key. The one on the right is the high temperature key.
Which means you will have to take that key to different areas to freeze it and to warm it up. Yay! Backtracking.
How wonderful. I heard this and I wanted to die.
After you figure out that you have to unfortunately bring it to different areas to change the shape and bring it back, put it in the terminals, the Colonel says,
"The world is riding on that key, Snake."
to which Ocelot then shoots out of your hand and it falls into the drainage ditch. That's right, Ocelot notices Snake out of the corner of his eye and says, "Who's that?" Uses his nub to hit the gun out of his holster, grabs it with the other hand, shoots it, slow-mo bullet, then knocks the key card out of Snake's hand, and it falls into the drainage ditch below. Ocelot and Liquid lock themselves in the room. Snake can't get to them because it's bulletproof glass, and that's important to know for something that happens later. And then you have to get the key card. Guys, how did you figure this out? How did you get the key card?
This is the start of my frustration. So I went down and I like checked the water and didn't find anything. So I started backtracking. I was like, where the fuck would I be able to find this shit? And I went up the elevators, went up to the fucking like the cold room, and I'm like, there's nothing here. I was like, I swear to God, if it's in that fucking room, but I already checked, I'm gonna be so pissed. So I went back down the elevators, came back to this room, hardcore checked the sides, and found the key as well as a time bomb, and it's my own stupidity there. It popped up saying time bomb. I'm like, cool. I picked up a time bomb. Minute later, I'm walking around just fucking explode, and I was like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm dumb.
That's hilarious. That's funny.
I was watching your stream, and I would jump forward a couple times during the dead zones or the backtracking or the cargo elevator rides. And when I hit it forward, I noticed that you restarted the area, and I thought to myself, how did he die? And I was like, he picked up the time bomb. So I had to instantly go back and watch you blow up, and your expression of shock and confusion was priceless.
Well, because I was already pissed about not getting the card, so I was once I started picking up stuff, I was like, oh, it must be over here. It was like, boom, time bomb, picked up something, and I was like, key card. I was like, fuck yeah, all right, let's get up there. Didn't he, like, it just completely like went into like one eye and out the other, like just didn't, I saw it, didn't like register at all, and then it just died, and I was like, and then when I picked it up again, I said, oh, that's why I died, and I ended up like throwing the bomb, which caused
everyone to
come in. It's like, fuck off. And then that's when, like, I think the third time I just ran around the time bomb and got the key. I was like, that's so much easier.
I did the same thing as you, John, but I did throw the time bomb. I didn't do the whole backtrack thing, but I tried, like, the first time I tried going into the water, and I could hear the ticking of my health go down.
Yeah.
But did not pay attention. So good old Snake hit the old drownage dump, baby. You know what I'm saying? It was great. But then I finally figured it out.
Best part, right? So I throw the time bomb, everyone starts fucking coming in, right? And I started doing the thing where I'm like, you know what? I just give up. Like, just kill me. I want to fucking restart this. And it's taking forever for them to fucking kill me. And I'm like, what is going on? And I realized I had the body armor on. I was like, fuck me. God damn it.
Like, so good.
I'm doing everything right and I still can't win.
Guys, I am so excited to tell you that I didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
All I did, when I ran over to the drainage ditch in the far northwest corner, I saw this mouse run into the hole.
Yeah,
and I thought,
I saw that too.
Huh. So I just waited. And if you shoot the mouse, he apparently ate the key card. And when you shoot the mouse, the key card drops out.
Look at Pete.
Good, dude.
Good old.
Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah.
Wow. I saw the mouse. I actually, like, I was like, can I feel like that's too small. Maybe I can, like, fit in there. And I, like, tried to crawl in. I was like, nah, can't do anything. Like, well. Wow.
I immediately ran up and put the key card in the first terminal. And then we were off to the second area.
That's pretty
where we
cool,
had
though.
to
I
freeze
like
the card. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I just saw it happen, and then I thought, all right, that had to have happened for some reason. There had to be some reason why the mouse freaked out and ran away.
Right.
You know what's funny is I was telling my dad about how we played this last section, and he literally asked me, he's like, did you shoot the mouse? And I literally was like, I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, nah, you'll figure it out.
Hearing you guys pick up the key in the drainage ditch, I did not know that was an option. I just thought, oh, shooting the mouse was the right thing to do. And it wasn't until I saw John's stream where he just picked up the key card, I thought, oh, maybe if you leave the room and come back, it's just in there. So now we are off on our way to freeze the key. And the only way to freeze the key is to go back to where you fought Vulcan Raven. And you have to hang out there for a little bit. And the key, as long as you have it out, will change from this yellow color to a blue color. Very simple. Very easy. Unless you cause a little ruckus with the guards, which I did. Because there are now guards patrolling that room that you
Yeah.
fought Vulcan Raven in.
That's right. Yeah.
I ran past them and I ran into the other room and I realized I gotta hang out in the room.
Yeah.
So I went back in there and I immediately got caught, but I killed all 3 guards because, like I said, ain't no bitches escaping me anymore. I'm a monster.
I've noticed in your gameplay here that I did the same thing that you did. Like, I was all about like shooting people with headshots, like back earlier in the game, and try to be like, oh yeah, I wanted to conserve bullets or be stealthy. Dude, by the end, I was just like, bop, 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 bop. Like, I just want you to die. Like, I'm just gonna keep shooting you, and then just die
Until
please.
you go down, I will keep shooting. We make it all the way back and have to take out the guards on the catwalks again.
Good.
To put the key into the second terminal. We now have to heat up the card, which means we have to go
Yay.
all the way to the blast furnace to warm up the card. Now, if you don't know, the card has to go from freezing to room temperature to warmed up. And
What's up, my boy?
I know at least one of us made the mistake of moving that bad boy up from freezing to room temperature and running all the way back and trying it on the terminal. John?
Yep. Yep. Dude, I was like, all right, room temperature key, boom, perfect. Frozen key, boom, perfect. Go up to the through the elevators that I can't fucking stand. And then get to the blast furnace room. Switches over. I'm like, this is easy, guys. Went down the elevators, went back through this room, go up there. He puts in, he's like, it didn't work. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hold up. And then I look and I go, fuck my life. I realized that I just went from super cold to room temperature. And I was like, I hate this fucking game so much right now. So I had to trek all the way back through, go through all the guards, go through the 2 elevators, get back to the stupid blast furnace room, wait for it to heat up as it's hot, then go back down the elevators. It made me so mad. And honestly, I was streaming and I think it was like 3 people watching or something like that, right? The moment I fucking put the key card in and it was wrong, and I was like, fuck, I have to go to the blast furnace again. Boom, people dropped out of the stream. I was like, yep. I was like, I don't even blame these guys. It's like, I hate myself too. I would stop watching me as well.
Oh, shit.
This is like,
Dang, bro.
I do want to mention that during this final key card run, you get a call from Master, who then explains exactly what Fox Die is.
It looks like the DIA recently developed a new type of assassination weapon.
An assassination weapon?
Snake, have you ever heard of something called Fox Die?
No. Fox Die? Liquid and the others were talking about it.
Yeah. It's some kind of virus that targets specific people. I don't know all the details, but...
What are you trying to say?
It's too similar.
What is?
The cause of death. Didn't the Arms Tech president and the DARPA chief, Decoy Octopus, die of something that looked like a heart attack?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Fox Die kills its victims by simulating a heart attack.
And then you find out Dr. Naomi was arrested. She was sending coded messages to the Alaskan base that you are at.
Bum, bum, bum.
Once we actually warm up the card all the way, whether it's on your first or second attempt, you have to go all the way back to the room.
Yep.
And
I don't get
insert
why
the
there's
key
2
card.
elevators. Why couldn't they just have 1 elevator that just goes down?
What I didn't get was why were the Ravens still there?
Yo, they were
Yeah.
full, bro. They can't fly on a full stomach.
Did you see him shitting all over the fucking place?
Just before we enter the room to put the final key card in, we have to get another codec call from the one and only Naomi Hunter, who is not really Naomi Hunter. And she tells you,
I was alone for so long until I met my big brother and him.
Your big brother?
Yes. Frank Yeager.
What?
He was a young soldier when he picked me up near the Zambezi River. I was half dead from starvation, and he shared his rations with me. Yes. Frank Yeager. The man who you destroyed was my brother and my only family.
Frank Yeager, Gray Fox, Ninja.
Yeah.
And she wanted revenge on Snake for taking him out in Zanzibar.
Zanzibar land.
What?
Zanzibar land.
She goes on to talk about the reason why she got into gene research, and because she wanted to find out who she was because she didn't know who her parents were. All she knows is that she cares about her brother and him is Big Boss. Big Boss was the one who brought her to America. That's why she joined Foxhound. Vowed revenge against Snake.
Did she say Yeager found her in her...
Yes, Yeager found her when she was an orphan.
Right.
And took her in. Yes.
And basically brought her up pretty much along with Boss.
Yeah. She waited 2 long years to take out Snake. And then she says,
You were all I thought about for 2 long years. Like some kind of twisted obsession.
Do you still hate me?
Not exactly. I was partly wrong about you.
She goes into a much deeper description of how Fox Die works, but she doesn't really answer Snake's question of how much time he has left. Once she's about to give the whole truth, you hear Colonel Roy Campbell.
Snake.
Hey! What are you doing?
Snake.
Naomi?
Snake, I can't allow Naomi to make any more unauthorized transmissions.
What?
And I guess he knocks her out. Like, that's what it sounds like. It sounded like, 3 punches and then she was missing. Snake wants to know what she meant. He wants to talk to Naomi, and Colonel says, no, you can't. There's no time. You have to go stop Metal Gear. Snake is angry at Colonel, but then we go and finally insert the last key card. And when you do that, it does the exact opposite. And it actually activates Metal Gear. Because you were being fooled. Master calls you and says,
Thank you, Snake. Now the detonation code is completed. Nothing can stop Metal Gear now.
And you find out that Master Miller is actually dead.
Master Miller's body was just discovered at his home. He's been dead for at least 3 days. I didn't know because my codec link with Master was cut off, but Mei Ling said his transmission signal was coming from inside the base.
So who is it?
Snake, you've been talking to me, dear brother.
Who we've been talking to this whole time is actually Liquid Snake in disguise, which I actually totally forgot about.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about this, and kudos to the voice actor, because it wasn't until the codec call happened and Master popped up, and I thought to myself, wait, Master and Liquid have the same voice.
Hey, you know what's crazy? Here's what's crazy, right? This is my first time playing this game, right? So you're realizing this for your second time. Dude, when all this was going on, I was listening to it and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I was like mind blown that they were doing this. Like it was a movie, right? And you didn't expect the twist coming. And then the twist happened. I was just like, what the fuck is going on right now? I went to bed, dude, after all this. I was just like, what the fuck just happened?
I remember Master being turning on you type of thing.
Yep.
I forgot that it was actually Liquid that was being that. Because I remember when I first saw Master, I was like, oh, that guy's gonna fuck me over later. I remember. But then I was like, oh, Liquid, cool. All right. Cool.
And you can actually hear the voice actor change his accent when he finally reveals that he's Liquid. Right. And I said, good on you, man. Good on you. If you were Troy Baker, you couldn't pull that off because I would have called you out right away.
Oh, rip.
Pete's still
Arkham Knight.
Salty over Arkham Knight.
Liquid tells you now that the warhead is active, Washington's going to have to listen to their demands because they have the ultimate weapon. And then he says, you served your purpose, Snake. You must die.
Mhm.
To which he locks down the room and fills it with gas. Guys, how did this part go for you?
Awful.
Why is that?
Oh, go ahead.
I just didn't know what to do. I literally had no idea what to do at all. I was literally like, good. Don't know really what I'm doing here at all. I died like 6 or 7 times, dude.
Really?
Yep.
Damn. I imagine Devon being the dog in that meme that just sits there and says,
Oh.
"This is fine.
This is fine.
It's fine. Oh, you didn't have the gas mask, did you?
Nope.
Oh.
See, listen. All these key items that you can grab. Just fucking no.
Yeah, I threw the gas mask on immediately.
Same here. Same here.
I think I just started calling people on the codec.
You did, John. I remember watching your stream.
Yeah.
You put on the gas mask and you instantly
Yeah.
called Colonel,
He said call
and he said call Otacon.
Otacon. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Because I was like,
So-
I don't know what's going on. I was like, you can't get out of here. And I was like, I think I'm just gonna call somebody. That's was part of the way I would get out of things. I would just start calling people. Like, help.
I think it was Otacon's "I'm a hacker" statement
Yeah.
that I thought
Yeah.
that man can get me out of this. Please
Yeah.
get me out of this. So I put on the gas mask, instantly called him, and then he said, "Hold on a minute, I'll get you out of there."
So how did you end up getting there, Devon?
I ended up after dying like 7 times. I put the controller down, walked upstairs. It was like 1:30, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to it. And I went back to it, and I pretty much did what you guys did. I called.
Yeah.
He pretty much tells you what you need to do. I was like, it's that simple. Great, good. If I would have grabbed most of these key items, I probably would have been fine.
It's
Good.
it's cool that you can not have those things and
and
still
still
complete
do
the
it.
game.
But it definitely
just
makes
like-
it a whole lot easier
Yes,
if
So
you
much
have
easier
them.
if you have that stuff.
Yeah.
But when you finally make it out of the room, you confront Liquid Snake and you have a huge pointless discussion. Which I'm
a
just gonna
shirtless Liquid
yes,
Snake.
a shirtless. He decides to take off his trench coat and just hang
Don't know
out
why.
shirtless. To summarize this conversation, the reason why Snake was sent there is because he was the perfect way to spread Fox die.
The Pentagon only needed you to come into contact with us. That's what killed the Arms Tech president and decoy Octopus.
You don't mean...
That's right. You were sent here to kill us, so they could retrieve Metal Gear undamaged along with bodies of the Genome soldiers. From the beginning, the Pentagon was just using you as a vector to spread Fox die.
The other takeaway from this conversation is they are clones of Big Boss. They are both clones. And Liquid tells Solid,
But we're not ordinary twins. We're twins linked by cursed genes. Les enfants terribles. You're fine. You got all of the old man's dominant genes. I got all the flawed, recessive genes. Everything was done so that you would be the greatest of his children. The only reason I exist is so they could create you.
wah, wah, wah. I'm so angry at the world.
Right.
And that's why I want to take it out. And that's the takeaway. That's the takeaway from this giant conversation that they have. During this whole conversation, Liquid is twirling and jumping around, and Snake has his gun trained on Liquid and isn't shooting him, isn't trying to do anything, just letting Liquid pull off his ballerina moves before Liquid finally gets into Metal Gear. The only time Snake takes a shot is when Liquid is actually inside of Metal Gear and piloting it. And you think, wow,
You're an idiot.
way to go, Snake. Which means it is now time to fight Metal Gear Rex.
Yay.
Guys,
What a wonderful time.
I want to let you know that through all my groaning, through all my anger at this game, I caught something very important just before the fight. And that was when Snake is on the ground level because Metal Gear Rex destroys the catwalks. He tries to attack Metal Gear Rex, but the cockpit is obviously closed. Just before he jumps up to attack Metal Gear Rex, the thing on Rex's shoulder tweaks out for a bit. And when I saw that, I said, I have to shoot that.
Oh, good. I need to start paying attention to cutscenes instead of just like stare. Peter's the luckiest human being.
I would never have put that together. Lucky for me, that was the thing I attacked anyway. Because when you bring up your Stinger missile, right, it has like three, as like the left gun, the bottom gun, and that little disc shield thing. So
Nope.
Just I was like, well, I guess I got to take them all out. I was like, I'm gonna start up here. I just started shooting at that thing.
Must be nice. I died like twice and then called the Otacon, and my boy let me know what I had to do. So I was like, oh, okay. I wonder if anyone else had trouble with this. And apparently not. I'm the only one.
Nope.
I'm the only idiot.
When I first started the fight, I ran over to the right and was hiding behind the pillars, and the missiles can't hit you as long as you're leaning up against the pillar.
Good to know. Good to know.
But the fight is actually way easier than doing that. If you just run around in the middle, dodge the 3 missiles, and then shoot right after, just pull out the Stinger missile and shoot right after, you can easily take it out. And I was running into trouble of actually aiming at the damn thing because my Stinger kept locking on to the body part next to it.
Yep.
So I was getting annoyed with that. So that's why I changed up my strategy, and I just started running around the middle. And I would let him shoot the 3 missiles. The moment the 3 missiles exploded, pull up the Stinger, and finally get a good shot on him.
Yeah,
really easy.
There's tanks that you can hide behind, but like they blow up if you shoot the missile.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they do.
Yeah. So the first ones what we're behind and they blew up, and then I ran down and there was more, but then there was like a box. And that was the box that I hid behind to block the missiles and just shot again the little disc thing on the shoulder until it blew up. And then the second part of the fight, I did the tactic that you were doing, Pete, where you just essentially dodge the missiles like by running around, and then once they are shot, you could just pull it up and do it. And I noticed, like you said, it locked onto the other weapons. Mm-hmm. So what I did was just like I looked over to like the right side and kind of just dragged it across. So the first thing I hit was the middle, and then it locked on, and I shot it.
I did the whole run around. Well, first I was hiding behind the tanks, ignoring the fact that they said danger on them, and then got hit by it once, and I was like, okay, can't do that. And then I just kept running around, dodging them, and all that stuff, because you can clearly see where they're gonna come down at, and then just pulled out the Stinger missile, like my boy Otacon said, and went ham. Otacon, dude, he's annoying, but the man is full of information.
But he's helpful. He's helpful.
So helpful.
So you finally take down all the health of the radar dome. That's what's on Metal Gear Rex's shoulder. A cutscene begins. Our boy Gray Fox arrives to save the day. Snake is about to get squashed, and Gray Fox comes in and holds up the leg of Metal Gear Rex. Snake says,
Gray Fox.
Gray Fox says,
a name from long ago. It sounds better than Deep Throat.
And I thought, yeah, that definitely does sound better than Deep Throat. Gray Fox then is able to throw his sword into the radar dome, and he is able to put some fire into it, which ruins the tracking of Metal Gear Rex long enough for Snake and Ninja to have a lengthy discussion off to the side of the room, because now is the perfect time to have that kind of discussion. What's the discussion about? It is about Naomi Hunter and Gray Fox actually killed her parents. Soap opera time!
Dude, this is like an M. Night Shyamalan movie with all these fucking twists, dude. It was like way too much. I was like, everything is a twist. I was like, Jesus Christ. This is ridiculous.
It comes up because Snake says you have to stop Naomi. You're the only one who can stop her. And Gray Fox says,
no, I can't. Why? Because I'm the one who killed her parents.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I couldn't bring myself to kill her, too. Oh, I felt so
goddamn
bad
soap opera.
I decided to take her with me. I raised her like she was my own blood to soothe my guilty conscience. Even now, she thinks of me as
this is
her
not
brother.
The time to be talking.
Outwardly, we may have seemed like contented brother and sister. But every time I looked into her eyes, I trembled with fear. Tell her for me. Tell her that I was the one who did it.
Liquid finally finds where they are. Gray Fox says the most manly thing ever, which is...
We're just about out of time. Here's a final present from Deep Throat.
What a name, dude. What a code name.
There is now a pretty cool fight between Ninja and Metal Gear Rex.
Did we mention that fucking the Ninja has a fucking gun now attached to his arm?
Right.
Like
I did not. Yeah, he does have a
a
gun
cannon.
on his
It's like a
arm,
fucking...
which I don't understand when he got that or why he
Yeah.
needed it, because he definitely did not have that before.
Nope.
But he has it now, and he does a bunch of flips and cool moves and dodges a bunch of fire and fights against Metal Gear Rex all the way until Metal Gear Rex has him right in his line of sights and fires a laser.
Yep.
All the way up.
That's right.
It starts from the bottom, now here, and it takes off Gray Fox's left arm. Immediately after that happened, Metal Gear Rex pins Gray Fox to the wall in the most aggressive way possible.
Facts. I nearly shit myself when it happened.
Liquid taunts Snake, saying,
Snake, are you just going to sit by and watch him die?
while Gray Fox is pinned to the wall, he is able to fire his cannon arm at the radar dome a few more times, finally destroying it. Liquid Snake allows him to fall to the platform that he's on, which is above Snake, and Gray Fox says,
Now, fire the stinger!
Fox! Can you really shoot? You'll kill him too!
and for some reason they felt it necessary to make this a gameplay segment where you can aim the stinger, but you can't shoot.
I forgot about this. This was so
Yep.
dumb.
Gray Fox, he's talking about Zanzibar land and how he was taken from the battle and how he wasn't alive or dead. And you, as Snake, can aim the stinger, but whenever you try to fire, Snake just says,
I can't do it.
I can't do it. And I just thought to myself, why even make this a section? Just make it
Right.
part of the cutscene. Just
Right.
make it part of the cutscene. Because guess what? Every gamer is trying to shoot. We all know Gray Fox is dead. Why let him die any more miserably than he is already?
But
To
it's
which-
the perfect opportunity to give it a choice in the game, right?
Yes.
You could either shoot it at Liquid, or you take out Gray Fox and finally give him what he's been wanting.
Because he wanted Snake to take him out.
Right.
That's what he wanted all along.
That's why he showed up.
But that's not what he gets. Snake doesn't shoot. Instead, Gray Fox is then knocked to the ground floor and then stepped on and literally squashed like a bug.
Farewell.
Oh. Yeah. Wow.
Liquid rubs that shit in.
Yeah. Like you stomping on a fucking cigarette.
Exactly.
When death is entreated, the battle is decided.
He pins Metal Gear Rex's foot to the floor and then uses the boosters to grind that shit up even more, and you can see the blood trail come up.
That's great.
It was the most aggressive death scene this game had to offer. And then you have to fight Metal Gear again. They tease you with the sword that fell from the
no.
radar dome.
I was like, fuck yeah, dude. We get the sword.
Snake picks it up for a hot second and then drops it. And then you basically have to do the exact same thing you did in the first part of the fight. All you have to do now is aim directly at Liquid, which I imagine you guys had no problem.
No
this
problem
part.
whatsoever.
So this was, like I said, it would lock on to like the left gun. I was like, why? Like, I can't get it onto actually shooting on him. So that's when I would just go to like target to the right when it went to the first person mode, and then swung it over and it would lock onto him and then shoot.
I did, like you, have a little bit of trouble with it locking onto other parts,
Uh-huh.
but nothing too crazy. I was able to move it around and be a little more direct with it and finally get the shots on target.
I'm a little surprised they didn't change up the fight a little bit somehow.
They should have.
I just remember finishing this part of the fight and thinking, ha, ultimate weapon my ass.
Right.
That thing got beat by a foot soldier. Once you finish the battle, Metal Gear is done. Metal Gear explodes. Goodbye. Snake passes out from the explosion. What happens when Snake wakes up? He's shirtless.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's weird.
Suspect. I want to see you because you look just like me, but different hair.
Why is he shirtless? You may ask if you're listening in. If you haven't played this game, if you don't know about Metal Gear Solid, he is shirtless because before he passed out, Liquid walked up to him, and then when he opens his eyes, Liquid has him tied up, and Liquid felt it necessary to remove just his shirt and all your items, but your shirt as well. Your shirt needed to come off. Incredibly weird. Don't know why that was a thing. And then the cutscene begins. Oh, God. This was painful.
Dude, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning at this point. I'm like, can we fucking end this, please? Like, for fuck's sake.
Never have I ever wanted to skip a cutscene so bad in my entire life, but I just sat through it. I was just like,
Never have I appreciated Indiana Jones shooting a man wielding a sword more than this game.
Yeah.
That man knew, let's just get on with it.
Yeah.
Facts.
All right?
Yes.
These guys, they don't know. They know make it as dramatic as possible and as long-winded as possible. I also want to say that classic Japan dialogue formula is very heavy used
with this one. Yes.
in this area. There are lines like super baby method, genome soldiers,
Oh, God.
sacrifices. The worst part about this cutscene is they're pretty much reiterating everything you already know.
Yeah.
Right.
We've already put all the pieces together. We already have everything going. They just elaborate on it a little more, like the fact that there were 6 children, not just these 2, but they were all made to make Snake the perfect soldier.
Yeah. I was actually, when this happened, I was like, this should have been the reveal of everything. Like,
Yes.
they could have totally bypassed that first part with everything and just had this be a more dramatic reveal. And it'd be
Yes.
like, okay, that's actually cool. Like, but like you said, it's just reiterating everything. Like, okay, come on.
If you're wondering what the super baby method is, by the way, that's
Father was wounded in combat and already in a coma when they brought him in. So they created us from his cells, with a combination of 20th century analog cloning and the super baby method.
Super baby method.
They fertilized an egg with one of Father's cells, and then let it divide into 8 clone babies.
I just love that they call it the super baby method.
Yeah.
Bro.
If I ever learn that someone I know is having twins or triplets, I am instantly going to use that. Did you use the super baby method?
They're literally
Super
gonna
baby
look at you.
method.
They're literally gonna look at you and say, "Super baby method," or they're just gonna tell you, "Get the fuck out of here."
So if you're ever gonna try to have kids, right when you're busted inside, you guys say super baby method.
I do need to correct myself. I said that there were 6 of them. There were 8. The other 6 died. That's what I meant to say. Fast forwarding through this long conversation.
My brain was mush at this point.
They
Crazy.
do go over that the genome soldiers have a defect, and that is the asymmetry effect, I believe.
Yeah, only things in nature that are don't have the asymmetry, or like the things in nature that have asymmetry don't survive, right?
Exactly.
That's what it's
Exactly. And that is what is wrong. And that's why they wanted Big Boss's DNA to cure the genome soldiers. Moving along to the fact that if you didn't surrender during the torture sequence,
Yay.
the reveal is Meryl is there, tied up. The last time we saw Meryl, she was shot once in both legs and once in the arm.
Yep.
So, left arm, to be specific.
Right.
After you find out Meryl is there, Liquid tells you that the Pentagon must have figured out that Metal Gear Rex has been destroyed.
It seems now that the Pentagon knows that Metal Gear is destroyed. They've arrived at a decision. They won't even need a BDA. If you want the details, why don't you ask your precious Colonel Campbell?
And when you call the Colonel, he tells you, yep, there are bombers on the way. They're going to drop a nuke and wipe the entire place out.
Those poor wolves.
The Colonel says that he's going to do his best to stop them until he is apprehended by Jim Houseman, the Secretary of Defense. He says,
there won't be a speck of evidence left. I'm sure the President would want the same thing.
The President ordered this?
The President is a busy man. I have complete authority here.
How do you plan on explaining a nuclear attack on Alaska to the media?
Don't worry. We've prepared a convincing cover story. We'll simply say that the terrorists exploded a nuclear device.
Damn it!
Liquid decides to up the ante and activate a time bomb with 3 minutes. And finally, you get to fight Liquid, and you have 3 minutes to take him out. And this is just a hand-to-hand fight. Guys, how did this go for you? You're at the top of Metal Gear, I should add. You're at the top of Metal Gear. I imagine you can fall off, but I didn't fall off at all.
Fall off either. It was a pretty easy fight, honestly.
Can we just put this in perspective first? So, you're on the ground. You pass out. You wake up. Liquid Snake has moved Meryl up to the top and you and taking your shirt off. This is like so extra. That's right. Like there's no reason why he had to bring you up there. That's just like it's just so weird. It just doesn't make any sense. But continue. I'm sorry.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm glad you pointed that out because it doesn't make any sense. Because I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of the fact that he had to grab you, undress you, carry you up to the top, and then thought, oh, let me grab Meryl. Go back down.
He's like me with the keys. He's like, fuck the bomb. I got to go back.
not just that, but he has the time bomb too. Like he had to carry that as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So either he's got both of you on his shoulders while carrying that, while climbing up one-handed, or he just did it all. And like you didn't wake up at all.
No, he backtracked, bro.
Dude, it's like when you're fucking when you're carrying all the groceries in one try.
One trip.
One trip.
I can do it. I can do it.
Can make it.
Well, the fight begins. This was super easy to me. I never got hit once.
Oh, I got hit a couple times.
I died. One point,
oh, really?
Every time I went to punch, I always just got locked into that three hit animation. So like
combo.
Yeah. And it's like I would come up short from him and I'd maybe get like the kick in, but he would just like hit me after. I think I died once and I was like, oh, this is so dumb. And then the second time I think I beat him.
Literally what Peter's doing is literally what I did.
What am I doing? Describe what I'm doing.
Oh, sorry. So literally what Peter's doing is running towards him and like running back as well but as soon as Liquid comes towards him, he just runs up to him and just hits him 3 times, 3-hit combo. That's pretty much the whole fight.
I learned that while Liquid is moving, he's just completely vulnerable. I actually started to get impatient and I started to be way more aggressive and it just worked out. He never got a single hit on me, I believe.
So I was aggressive and just followed them and there'd be times where like it wouldn't register me hitting him and he would punch me or whatever and I'd be like, oh my god, this is just like so stupid.
I kept knocking him off of Metal Gear and I would have to sit there and wait for him to climb back up.
You knocked him off quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't hard by any means.
No. We beat Liquid. He's done. You have to watch this kind of cringy final fight between them where they each do the exact same move on each other several times in a row. And none of them know how to block.
Don't they do like the Rocky Punch where they both hit each other at the same time?
Over the top,
Yeah.
both arms hitting each other in the face. And then shortly after that, Snake gives a solid punch-out uppercut to Liquid Snake, knocking him off Metal Gear and sending him to his demise, supposedly. To which we finally get to rescue Meryl. We wake her up. They have a little heart-to-heart, and they're about to make out. And Otaku Cockblock calls.
Otta Cockblock?
Otta Cockblock calls.
We're about to be bombed.
Oh boy. I guess we're considered expendable.
Is there a way out of here?
A way out? Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Me? I'll stay here.
Are you crazy?
I need a little more time to take care of your escape route.
He doesn't do anything for you. All right? You want to know why? Because when Meryl and Snake are able to finally get out of here.
I'm just putting together now that she had her knees blown out not 3 hours ago.
She was shot in the thighs. But you're right. Meryl is walking around perfectly fine, even running at certain points.
Yeah.
She's got them thick thighs, baby.
Those sniper bullets did not hinder.
She got shot in one knee.
Listen,
thigh, one leg,
at all.
Listen, the bullets were through and through. Okay.
Oh.
Why do I say that Otacon doesn't help you out at all? Because when you finally try to escape with Meryl, you have to steal a Jeep.
Oh, fuck.
Yes, and guards constantly pour in. And does Otacon open the door so that you can drive out when the Jeep is finally started? No, he doesn't do it. You have to blow it up with the cans there, which I did not know at first.
Yep.
So I just sat there shooting guards.
Non-stop. And I was like, what the fuck? Something's got to be different on this. Because they only give you one ration at the beginning, too. I believe I died. And then figured that you had to shoot the cans. I was like, oh, much easier. Okay.
Yeah. No, I definitely died a couple times because I was like, dude, I can't figure this out. I have no idea what's going on. And then, little cannies. And just, there we go. Otacon's useless, dude.
Except he helped you figure out what you had to do in your boss battles.
Facts. He was the man, bro. He was the man. Absolutely the man.
The most annoying thing is that you have no weapons in this part.
Yep.
So for the first little bit, you can't do anything except punch them. Meryl starts the Jeep. You blow up the door. You can finally leave. Snake has his shirt and everything, by the way. They made a point where Snake had to get his clothes, and he finds his sneaking suit.
Let's get out of here.
Snake, it's freezing outside. You need some clothes.
There's my sneaking suit.
And then you have a vehicle section where you are using the turret gun on the back, and Meryl is driving out of there.
Aiming in the first person is kind of brutal in this part too, and like they're pretty accurate with their shots, so it's like they'll hit you, and you get that aim punch where you just lose your fucking like aim, and
Yep,
so brutal.
Yes,
it's rough.
When you get hit
rough.
and your gun jumps up and you have to realign your aim, and by the time you realign your aim, you get hit again. I made the mistake when Meryl was driving to turn around and aim behind me because I was thinking that they were going to pursue me that way. That's not the case. There's actually checkpoints. So when you drive up to the checkpoint, I'm aiming the other way, and there are a bunch of guards behind me lighting me up. Again,
not to mention she does like she pulls in sideways, and like it totally rotates you. You're like, oh fuck.
Yep.
It's like
and you have to do that twice. The second time I was ready to aim forward.
That's crazy. I literally was facing forward. So like I didn't even think that they were gonna be following me from behind.
When you get past the 2 checkpoints, once again the man who will not die shows up in a vehicle with a FAMAS shooting at you. It is Liquid Snake. He is still alive and pursuing you.
It's a twist.
Why won't you die?
What do you have to do in this section? You basically have to shoot Liquid Snake over and over again. He'll duck down and try to dodge your shots.
Honestly, this part was like a sigh of relief, right? I was like, yo, thank God that this is all I have to do, right? Like, thank the Lord.
I honestly don't
This is
remember
it.
doing this part.
John was half asleep doing it.
I know.
Honestly, God, this was really late.
Then we get a cutscene where Liquid crashes into you, knocks out Meryl, and Snake does this beautiful, beautiful balance technique on the gun and is able to dodge all of the FAMAS bullets that Liquid shoots at him. It is quite an artful technique.
Look at this, dude. I'm gonna plank on the gun real quick. Hold on.
He ends this section with the triple headbutt technique. They finally crash. The vehicles land outside the base. Somehow, even though they're driving in a Jeep with no cover, none of them get hurt, even though the vehicles flip over. No seatbelts. They land right on a cliff. None of them fall off. Solid Snake is able to crawl out, and Meryl, who has been shot 3 times and was
in a
car accident, was knocked out. I guess the crash woke her up because she's able to get up. What happened? And then you get shot at by Liquid Snake again. He is very angry, very upset. Walks over to you, wants to kill Snake, but then what gets him? The new form of assassination that was developed by the government finally takes over. Liquid looks up at Solid and says, "Fox." And Snake looks back at him and says, "Die."
God.
He falls to the ground and then gets right back up and stares at Snake in the eye before falling down again.
Yeah.
Honestly, I jumped. To be fair, I literally sat here and I was like, "Oh, that was good," and then he got up and I was like, "Oh, okay."
This is like when Snake got hit in the head and he turned around and then fell down. They really are brothers.
They really are. They really are. Liquid is dead, and then we have to deal with a long-winded denouement.
God, this is so brutal. At this point, it's like 3:30. I'm like,
Let me go to bed, please.
The bombings did not happen, and that's because the colonel was able to speak with the president, and the president had the Secretary of Defense arrested, which means everyone's okay. However, everyone thinks that Snake and Meryl are dead.
That's the official report.
They still have to keep it a secret. Get out.
Brown chicka wow wow, brown chicka wow wow.
And I believe he talks to what's her face?
He does talk to Naomi.
Naomi.
Yes.
And he's like,
What about me? When am I going to go?
That's up to you.
What do you mean?
Everybody dies when their time's up.
Yeah, so when's mine up?
It's up to you how you use the time left to you.
what the fuck? Like, just tell me, bitch. Like,
Right.
That is right.
Liquid just died. Like, fucking tell me.
Naomi hops on the call. Colonel lets Naomi talk to Snake, and that is exactly how it goes down. Oh, Snake also lies to her.
I heard about my brother.
Fox, no, Frank wanted to tell you something. He told me to tell you to forget about him and to go on with your own life.
Frankie said that?
Yeah. He also said he'll always love you.
And he murdered your family, and everything's good. Yeah.
Liar!
And then they walk off into the sunset.
Don't they have to? They find a.
They find a snowmobile
Yes.
that was promised to them and a helicopter that's going to take them away at the end of their snowmobile ride. But they hop onto there. They have some nice little moments. Snake tells her his real name.
My name is David.
What a fucking undercut.
Yep. All right, Dave. Where are we going to go?
Snake was able to fight everyone, kill almost everyone in almost probably less than 24 hours.
This is the thing. They can't even just get on a fucking snowmobile and drive away. They're like, the caribou. It's like, just drive. What are you doing?
And Snake chooses to end this with the corniest line.
I've lived here a long time, but Alaska has never looked more beautiful. The sky, the sea, the caribou, and most of all, you.
Let's enjoy life, and they ride off.
What a pussy.
Let's go get a burger. A caribou burger.
I do want to let you know that there is an after credit scene.
Yeah, stinger.
There is one where Ocelot is talking to someone, and you find out that he is talking to the third child, Solidus.
Really? Because
Yes.
I did not.
Someone didn't stay for the credit.
Gotta watch the credits, bro.
Yeah, come on,
I
man.
didn't know it was a Marvel movie,
Did
bro.
Marvel teach you anything? Done. The Twin Snakes. Guys, before I ask you what you thought of the game, would you play Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty?
I was gonna say let's play Phantom Pain, but I mean, I'd be down to give it a try just to see how different it is, right? Because I mean, it's got to be more updated.
Updated, yes, but honestly, it's still pretty much the same game.
Jesus Christ! Never mind then. I'm good. I'm out, bro.
I just for the shit of it, kind of want to play it. I would need some time in between. But
I need like 4 games.
As over the top as this game is, like it does make me, because I know there's like a whole obviously like progression in history with the franchise, and after not really sticking with it past I think Metal Gear Solid 2, I kind of want to play through them and just see how it progresses.
What do you guys think?
Overall, I think the game was really good. I'm surprised that I had never like decided to play through. Like this is like the first Metal Gear I've played through the whole thing and actually beat the game and played it, right? So for me, and like even talking about the game with my dad, because he remembered some parts that we would talk about, it was kind of like a bonding thing with him, because he was like, oh, I remember that part, and like what he did. He was telling me stuff that he did different in the game. So it was kind of cool to see both like 2 different things that we did, or if we did the same thing. I enjoyed the game as many as there was so many cutscenes. That's like the only thing. It was just like drawn out.
Yes,
too much. And like when it would fade out, I was like, oh great, and then it would come back, and I was like, oh god, dude, come on, bro, like let me live, please. Yeah. But I enjoyed the game overall.
I liked it. I think it was fun to play through again. I think it, nostalgia wise, it kind of ruined some things for me. And I held some things like pretty like in high regard, being like, oh, I remember that being cool and that being fun, and then like playing through it again, I'm like, not really that cool at this point. But overall, I enjoyed playing it. I'm happy that it was a shorter game, even though there's the fucking cutscenes. But it's looking at it from the perspective of a game that came out in '99 that they redid in like was 04 or something like that, 03, 04. It still did things that I wish that games did today. Like it did some cool things, and I kind of miss the old school way that they developed games back then. Even though I think control wise we're vastly ahead of what it was, and a lot better. I just wish that there was some like mentality of that old school kind of updated to games today. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked it.
I am glad that I played it. However, I will say I liked it less and less as it went along. The last 2 sections were very long to me and kind of dampened the experience. And this last section definitely made me feel worn out.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted it to end so badly. And I'm glad that we got to play it this way. Because
right.
let me tell you, if I was trying to play it straight through,
I would have stopped.
I would have stopped. I would have totally stopped and then said, I'll pick it up some other time. I appreciate what the game did. I appreciate how it brought the original game back for a different generation. Not even so much a different generation, but it updated a beloved classic. However, not my kind of game at all. Even back then when I played it on the PlayStation 1, I had my own struggles with it. At the same time, when I played it on PlayStation 1, I feel like I enjoyed it way more. And I think it's probably because I was way more forgiving of controls and older game mechanics as opposed to now where even more time has passed since games have been developed like that, where now I just think like that's really far back compared
Too
to
much of a distance or an in between now.
yeah, compared to what we have now. Still great to go back. I liked the cutscenes as over the top as they were because they provided some comic relief throughout the story.
Yeah.
Because some of them were so over the top that it actually relieved some of the stress that the gameplay was giving me.
Yeah.
But glad I got to play it. Glad we went through it. And I thought it was a solid choice for our first Game Club game.
I see what you did there.
So I would like to say that I think this kind of solidifies to me of how I want to replay games from my past. And I think it's more of I want to play remasters, or I'd say I want to play remakes versus remasters. You know, taking this in comparison to say like the Shadow Colossus remake. They did it by updating graphics, but they kept obviously the story and the feel of the game. They updated the graphics, they updated the controls. So it's like you can play it and not feel the pains of the controls of the past, but also it's like reliving and having that experiencing that same feeling.
Yep.
And I think that's where I need to be now moving forward with these kinds of things, because like as much as I like this game, replaying it in its basic state that it was with just updated graphics was still pretty painful.
So guys, we did it.
We did it.
First game done.
In the books.
In the books. It is over. Woo! We will be taking a 1-week break as we ramp up to play the next game in our game club. That gives you time to listen through all the episodes again, or for the first time if you haven't listened to all of them, and then come back and play the next game with us. We will let you know on our social media what we're going to be playing for our next game club game. Stay tuned to that. You can follow us at BLKWHT Gaming, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow us on any of those. We stream quite a bit, so you can definitely catch each of us on there. If you want to reach out to us in private, feel free to send us an email over at blkwhtgaming@gmail.com. And if you want to talk to us, you want to join us, ask us any questions about Metal Gear Solid or the next game, whatever game we decide to play, join our Discord. You can find the Discord link in the description of the YouTube video or whatever listening platform you have, whether it's iTunes, Google, Spotify, SoundCloud. We're on
Walkie-talkie.
quite a bit of them.
Megaphone, whichever one you need.
But that is it for our first series of the Game Club. I'm excited. Guys, we did it. We did it.
It was great.
Yeah.
It's good.
It worked out well.
I'm nervous to see what the next game is, just because I feel like this one is easily structured. And I don't know how longer games are going to fare, or newer games, especially because we don't know how to actually structure it. So,
well,
it'll be interesting.
If we decide to go with a certain one that I suggested, that one is structured very well for something like this.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
But the listener and the viewer will have to wait to find out.
Mm-hmm.
That is it for this episode of Game Club. I'm going to give the final word over to Devon.
Oh, you got me, DC Man 054, the Colbert 12, light skinned T'Challa, Piccolo's older brother, joined by Mr. Johnny Pagodo Nuts, and the head honcho, Super Game Geek Peter.
Adios.
And listen, we'll catch y'all in about a week.